This is Drew from Old World Whiskey Society. Happy Repeal Day. On this day, December 5th in 1933, the prohibition of alcohol was officially lifted in the United States. To commemorate, got a couple bottles that I'll be tasting for you today. The first is the Cutty Sark Prohibition Edition. This is a blended Scotch, so it's one that some people may not even look at in the age of single malts and special editions. But I find this a very good entry point for people who don't have a lot of history with Scotch. Just about everybody that I've poured this for has decided they actually do like Scotch. They just don't like the Scotches they've tasted before. So if you're looking to get into an entry-level Scotch, Cutty Sark Prohibition Edition is good. The other standard Cutty Sark I'm not such a big fan of, but the Prohibition Edition is very nice. So we'll do a quick pour here. Okay, so it's a fairly young whiskey. If you're used to drinking more aged bourbons or scotches, or even like a Redbreast 12 or something in the Irish category, this is going to seem pretty young to you. You get some nice honey, a very light smoke from some of the peated whiskey that's blended in. On the tongue, I get some caramel and honey, almost a toffee flavor. Because it's young, you get a little bit of that fresh whiskey burn. But then it finishes very clean with just a slight hint of honeysuckle and citrus that I'm getting. Okay, now that my palate's warmed up, I'm getting some peppery notes. And what was tasting as honey caramel mixed is more of a nutty toffee now. Very nice dram. Finish. Still getting citrusy notes, maybe some green grass or green apple notes at the end. Still a little bit of burn, but not much. Second bottle today is a good old-fashioned bourbon. Buffalo Trace's Weller line is quickly becoming a fan favorite, definitely a favorite for me. The Antique 107, some places a little harder to find. I had no problem finding it at my local Kroger, but your experience may vary. They also do a special reserve that's somewhere typically around $30 a bottle retail. This is closer to $60 retail. The Weller line has become famous because lately because a lot of people have realized that Buffalo Trace uses the same mash bill for Weller that they've been using all along in the Pappy Van Winkle line. And that means that you get a lot of the same flavor profiles, although definitely not aged as much. So a lot of the notes that would come from a barrel, you're not going to get. And that extra aging definitely mellows out Pappy Van Winkle more than the Weller is. The Weller is bottled at 107 proof for the Antique. On the nose, I'm definitely getting some honey, some malt. Maybe a little bit of a buttery note there at the end. On the palate, definitely get some brown spice, kind of that allspice clove kind of taste that bourbon often gets, especially if it's been aged well. Some nice caramel, faint citrus. And that brown spice really lingers on the finishing notes. Overall, very nice whiskey. You won't be disappointed if you're a bourbon lover and get a hold of the Weller. And again, if you haven't been a fan of Scotch or haven't tried a lot of Scotch, give the Cutty Sark Prohibition Edition a chance if you get a hold of one. It's really quite something. This is Drew from Old World Whiskey Society. Happy Repeal Day.